Hello everyone and welcome to the Lunatic Highlands YouTube channel. How y'all doing? And welcome to my first video. Now, I have thought long and hard about what game I should pick for my very first video. And after a lot of thought, now who am I kidding? After zero thought whatsoever, I have chosen Death Stranding, the director's cut. And I can already hear you all in the comments.
Really, DavZ? Death Stranding? Well, you better do this game justice, cause we haven't decided if we like this whole YouTube thing of yours yet.
And you know what I think of that? Now, in all seriousness, there is a reason why I picked Death Stranding as the first game for the Let's Try series. The game has been on my radar for quite a while, yet opinions about the game vary wildly. There are a lot of people who like the story and the gameplay, yet others feel that it depends too much on the story and the fact that it feels too much like a movie. With some critics saying that they feel that Hideo Kojima, the director and producer of Death Stranding, should have made a movie instead of a video game. But I am DavZ, resident lunatic with a microphone, and I like balance in all things. Which also means I like balance in my video games. I've played enough story-driven games to appreciate good writing, and I've played enough games in general to have a decent opinion on gameplay as a whole. And that kind of makes Death Stranding the perfect first game in this series. Is it a movie masquerading as a game? Or is there something to be said about the gameplay that Hideo Kojima incorporated? Now, let's start with the story. The story is... well... It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in high gravity while traveling through alternate universes. Okay, that analogy might have gotten away from me there. But funny enough, that's the thing. The story, one could say every story, hinges on what is known as the suspension of disbelief. The wise and all-powerful interwebs, let us never ignore its power and always sing its praises, describes it as follows. Suspension of disbelief is the avoidance, often described as willing, of critical thinking and logic in understanding something that is unreal or impossible in reality, such as something in a work of speculative fiction, in order to believe it for the sake of enjoying its narrative. Or in simple terms, don't ask why, enjoy story. Now, this is not unusual in works of fiction. Look at the Star Trek franchise. The viewer has to depart of critical thinking, accept the reality in which the series is set in order to enjoy the narrative. Same can be said for Dragon Ball Z or Twilight. I mean, why in the bloody hell would vampires sparkle in daylight and not turn to ashes? It makes absolutely no fucking sense. The sheer gall to make sparkly fucking vampires.
Hold on a second. Something's on here. Let me just... there we go. We can move on.
Point is, it's normal. By doing away with critical thinking and logic, one can enjoy narrative. Yet, while playing Death Stranding, I was struggling with it. And I watch professional wrestling, so I know how to ignore logic and critical thinking. When I started the game, I was playing as an unknown person, portrayed by Norman Reedus. And that's all I knew. I crashed my motorcycle bike thing by hitting someone, and the game handed me the controls. As if it was saying, no, go and walk it off, idiot. I get some gameplay tutorials, though I would rather call them in-game hints, and I'm on my way. I gather some of the cases I lost during the crash, and when I get near a cave, another cutscene played. It's at this moment in the video that I want to point out how cutscene heavy the first hour of the game is. In the first hour of the game, I actually played about 6 minutes. I'm all for immersive storytelling, but this is creeping up on too much storytelling. I learned that my name is Sam Porter and I deliver stuff. From what I gather, the world operates on deliveries because the rain, or timefall as it is known, ages stuff, including humans. Unless you wear a special suit, I suppose, seeing how Sam I am is wearing a suit that doesn't seem to be affected by the rain, or excuse me, timefall. A stranger all of a sudden grabs my arm and tells me to be quiet, after which hands appear on the ground. Great! Invisible monsters. I get hounded by these things doing the spookums, after which strange lady number uno asks me to work for her. After a snarky reply that I work solo and that her company has enough employees, she says that most of them are traitors, and she bounces shortly afterwards. But now that stranger danger left me, I can control Sam again, and I walk alongside a lake. Now, look at these graphics. Hot damn! This looks absolutely stunning. The visuals are fantastic. The best of any game I have played so far in my life. Stunning visuals, fantastic scenery. It all feels alive. The graphics, together with the soundtrack, create a surreal but serene environment that honestly is quite addicting. See, I don't mind walking for kilometers if it means that I can take in these gorgeous vistas. Every once in a while, I get a prompt on my screen that tells me to either press my left or right mouse button so I can regain my balance. If I do not do this, Sam falls and loses the cargo he is carrying, damaging the cargo in the process. And seeing how Sam gets better rewards the more pristine the cargo is, I kinda need to make sure that I don't fall down and go boom. I finish my delivery, get spoken to by someone through the means of hologram I think, and I get into a cutscene again. And this is the point where I totally lost the plot. The next cutscene takes, and this isn't me exaggerating for comedic effect, another 15 minutes. Afterwards, I get control of Sam underwater for 5 seconds and then get another 10-minute cutscene. Now, I don't want to do a deep dive into the story of Death Stranding and spoil it for all the people who want to try the game out for themselves. But after that 10-minute cutscene, I get control of Sam for 3 minutes before I get another 15-minute cutscene. This means that in total so far, I had recorded about 1 hour and 12 minutes of total footage. I already had 15 minutes worth of cutscenes. And that's not counting the intro of the game. Due to story reasons, I am all of a sudden carrying a dead person on my back, and I need to drop the body off at an incinerator before the body nukes the world again. The game actually gave me 3 different routes this time, which I like. I picked the one towards the waterfall and away I go. And this is where the game shines. I got a destination, a package, some tools like rope and ladders. I set myself a route and off I go. That is the gameplay in its most basic form, controlling Sam the delivery man in a dystopian world. Yet, as weird as the idea sounds, it feels fantastic. The relaxing lo-fi music, the gorgeous visual, it all blends together perfectly. It gives me the feeling that I'm starting my own personal journey. The game tells me where to go, and the player's job isn't done until Sam arrives at the destination with the package. It's so simple, but so extremely well executed that I can only give props to Hideo Kojima and his team for the quality on display here. With all the gripes that I have about the story, the gameplay feels exquisite. After disposing of the body, I need to head back to the outpost. But I will need to sneak past a couple of BTs, the invisible monsters mentioned previously. I can now feel how the game ramps up the tension, and the game comes close to becoming a horror game at these points. The tension is high, and I have the beeping of my BB coming through my speakers. It's really intense, and I actually breathed a sigh of relief when I was done sneaking past those BT buggers. These small portions of high-intensity stealth make the low-stress traveling even more worthwhile. I am aware that the game will introduce combat soon, but I decide that after I return to the base, that I will quit replaying the game. Like I said, I have played the game before, and I know certain things will get introduced later on, like the ability to do side quests, to get your own ladders and rope, and the ability to make observation towers, but I feel that I have a decent grip on the game's basic mechanics and story to form my own opinion. So now the question is, what is my opinion on Death Stranding? Death Stranding is a weird beast. It doesn't have a lot of flaws in my opinion, except for one. Yet that one flaw is the major flaw that bugged me for the most of the time that I played it, and that is indeed the story. Time for a little peek behind the scenes. When I decided to play Death Stranding for this video, I already played about 4 hours of the game. I was really intrigued by it, and I decided, yeah, why not, let's make a video. I'll write the script, start a new game to get some video material, you know, the whole 9 yards. Yet, because of that reason, this Let's Try took way longer to make than I initially thought. The choice of replaying the part that I already played was unappetizing at best, because the game isn't really replayable. When I started out, I thought, okay, maybe I can start making sense of some of the aspects of the story. But I found out that wasn't really the case either. I usually don't like games that give me audio logs or tons of information to read through. But with the severe lack of information about the world and its inhabitants, you lack the ability to put things into perspective or the proper context. And really, I would have welcomed audio logs or a codex if it meant getting more information about the world. And that's what I was missing. Context. A lack of context cannot be fixed by the suspension of disbelief that I mentioned earlier. It can be fixed with reasonable pacing, by creating a gradual understanding of the world and what happens in it. The amount of information I heard within the first hour of gameplay is as follows. My name is Sam Porter Bridges. I deliver stuff. I'm not the only one who delivers stuff. There's a company called Fragile Express. It's full of traitors. You can eat cryptobiotes. The world is fucked. Rain is called Timefall. Timefall ages stuff, except not everything. I have a mother. She's dying. She's also the president of the United States, but the United States doesn't exist. Except it does, but in spirit. Dead bodies go boom. I can't die. I have a sister or wife. She is somewhere. There is a beach with a lot of dying or dead fish. I have an emotional connection to a baby. That baby is a bridge baby. Bridge babies can sense BTs. BTs are invisible. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that Sam has effing phasmophobia. And yes, I did multiple takes on this because I don't have a clue how to pronounce that. I could go on and on and on, but this is just a handful of things that are told within the first hour of gameplay. And at that point in time, I still lacked any form of perspective on what information is relevant and what isn't. And there was something else that annoyed me about the story, and I had a problem figuring out what that was exactly. But after a conversation with a good friend of mine, I finally found out what that little twitch, that little annoyance was. During me replaying the game and capturing the footage you all see now, I saw something that really irked me about Sam. See, Sam Porter is a character that stuff happens to. He isn't taking control of the narrative. The story basically just happens to him. And that translates to the player. Stuff happens to you. And the moment you start thinking about all the stuff that happened and why it happened, the story starts to crumble apart. And from the bottom of my heart, I think that's a fucking shame. To me, it feels like this is the only flaw within Death Stranding. I love the gameplay. I can easily get swept up in the walking from A to B gameplay within a heartbeat. And the controls, even on PC, feel fantastic. The world looks absolutely gorgeous, even on my little Nvidia GTX 1070. The game has so much potential, and it feels incredible, both audio and visual. But I just wish that I could love us as much as the people on the interwebs do. But every time I think about playing the game, I feel trepidatious, uncertain about the amount of new information I will have to take in, without question, just to enjoy the story. Now calm down everyone, put the pitchfork and torches down and listen to me. I want to make a couple of things very, very clear. Let me say a couple of things first. I disagree with the statement that Hideo Kojima should be making movies instead of games. Why? Look at the primary gameplay loop. I think it's great. And the visuals look absolutely amazing. And the sound design is great too. This can also be said about people who make the argument that this is a bad game. It's not. Like previously stated, the fundamentals are there and well executed. Hell, even the argument that the story is badly written is bogus. Because from what I've heard, this is the usual writing style of Hideo Kojima. And as a hobby writer myself, I can respect that. But as my ex said to me before breaking up, it's not you, it's me. I came into this with zero experience. I haven't played any of Hideo Kojima's games before. A friend back in the day told me about his writing style from his time working on Metal Gear Solid, and honestly, I always wanted to try one of his games. And, well, this was the most recent game, plus the fact that Death Stranding 2 is being developed at the time of recording. I found this was the perfect time to try one of his games and experience his way of writing. And at the end of the day, it just isn't for me. Would I recommend you buy the game? Well, it depends. If you're a fan of his work, then absolutely. If you're new to Hideo Kojima's work, I would buy it on sale. But know what you're getting into. If you are the type of person that has a problem processing information, then know that this game demands you to accept the world Kojima created without question. As for me, this is where it stops. I've tried the game and I'm glad I did. Will I buy Death Stranding 2? No. But I do understand why so many people like Kojima's work. Even though I might not like the way the story is written, there is no way that one cannot see how full of potential this game is. Though, I'm sad to say, this isn't a game for me. But I can see why so many people love this game when it released. Or to use an analogy, this game is like a griffin. It's a weird mishmash of different things slapped into one. But if you look at the whole picture, one cannot deny how majestic and gracious it is. The only flaw you yourself will create is the moment you start questioning the logic behind it. Thank you all so much for watching. It was tough making this, but I loved every second of it. Also, this video is way later than I wanted it to be, but had to have a root canal done and had a jaw infection, so talking was crap for like a long time. But I'm glad I finally got this thing finished. Please, if you're new here, please remember to subscribe, ring the bell, and, well, share the video on social media. It would help out a lot. I'm hoping/trying to make these videos once a month, but until then, remember that whatever you do, whatever happens, stay crazy and take care.